Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. My name is Smingle. I hope you're looking forward to this. We're going to continue with some Tyrion Cuthbert. Hope you're all looking forward to this. I'm sorry this started a bit late. I know I was meant to start this at 7, but we had a sort of last minute arrangement. I'm afraid we had some family friends come over for some barbecue, which I have now eaten. But that, it's just the way of things. When you realise in Britain that a day is going to have good weather, you make plans last minute. You just can't help yourself. You just make plans last minute. There's no oh, I wonder if on this day in 2 weeks time we'll have good weather and we can have a barbecue. There's none of that, because 8 out of 10 times you'll be completely wrong, and then there's no event. We've had pretty solidly good weather recently, but you just don't know if it's going to suddenly change or not, because it really does have the propensity to just suddenly go, oh yeah, it's England. There's no in between. Suddenly you just realise, oh yeah, we're meant to rain. That's right. I forgot for a moment. We were the UK. Let's rain. That's my impression of the clouds, by the way. I don't know if you picked up on that. Anyway, speaking of very pompous things like Britain, we're going to be playing some more Tyrion Cuthbert today. I enjoyed this yesterday. I'm looking forward to getting back into it. I think we're either halfway or a third of the way, or even a quarter of the way through the first case. No, sorry. Oh my god, goodness me, the second case. We did the first case in one stream. That took about 3 hours. That was like a week ago now. But this second one we started yesterday. We got about, we did the first set of investigation, and then the first set of defense courtroom nonsense. There we go. We'll go with that. Courtroom nonsense. And it was loads of fun. I'm looking forward to where this is going to continue to. So let's get right into it, shall we? Let's just keep going. Please load. Thank you. Lovely. So yeah, we're now in the cemetery on episode 2, part. I guess it's part 4. This part 1 was the intro. Part 2 was the investigation. Part 3 was the courtroom nonsense. So part 4 is just sort of the second part of the investigation. Okay, cool. I mean, it works for me. Let's do it. Yes. I like how quick the menus are in this game. That's one good thing. Oh, there's some faded. Why are these all weirdly selected faded? This one kind of looks like it's see-through. I must be imagining that. Yeah, all of these. Some of them you can read, and some of them are just faded nonsense. But then the text below it isn't faded. It's strange. Tyrion, what are we doing here? I'm not sure. If you're new here, I do Irish for Tyrion. Hello, Toby. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for coming. For some reason, you felt drawn to this place. Wait, is that Eris? Celeste points further into the cemetery. Cemetery? There you see Eris standing in front of a gravestone. She's placing flowers on it and appears to be chanting a short prayer. Well, we found her. We should probably talk to her later. It would be rude to disturb her now. As you're about to leave, Eris suddenly turns to face you. She's far away, but you can see her beckoning you over. Ooh, no. I don't trust this girl for a lick, so I'm doing well. Excellent. I hope you're looking forward to this. I said earlier, I'm sorry this started an hour late, so it might have to be a bit of a shorter stream, but we might just get through this part of the investigation. We just had a last minute barbecue arrangement that I was not really able to pull myself out of. Hello there. Were you two looking for me? So sorry, we were looking for you. But we understand if you'd rather talk later. No, I was just finishing up here. Did you have something you wanted to talk to me about? Well, we wanted to ask you some questions about the case. Okay. Oh no, we can present more things. Yes. I'll tell you everything you need to get through this case. What would be the fun in that? Okay. Oh, can I? Is that she's going to say the same thing for everyone? What if I present the boy? It's strange, really. If it weren't for his disposition, Wallace would be quite the person to fear. What do you mean? Clear to the three of us that he didn't commit the murder, but think about how easily he could have done what he was accused of. He could instantly kill anyone using necrotic blight, and he could even raise them as undead using animate corpse. I suppose so, but Wallace would never do something like that. It's surprising what they can do if they're pushed far enough. I don't like this girl. She scares me. It really makes me wonder how idiotic the people that bullied him were. I'd rather not think of such things. Yeah, I wouldn't either. What about, Catherine? Catherine Bellwether wasn't the best person. She constantly used her authority to belittle and torment people. I'm sure the world is better off without her in it. Oh, that's extremely blunt, Eris. Can't exactly disagree with her. I have no interest in suspecting those in power who are unworthy of it. What about the headmaster? You were with the headmaster in his office earlier. You two acquaintances? In a way, yes. You could say I'm a patron of his. I'm mainly interested in why he would go so far as to include the common folk in the academy. His generosity is clearly a vice sometimes. What do you mean? Enrolling common folk mages into the academy was already a controversial move. Teaching one of them necromancy. Even if Wallace is acquitted, I don't see things getting easier for him. Interesting. Interesting. What about, her? That's a fancy-looking sword, Celeste. Is it from the Eastern Kingdoms? Yes, actually. How did you know? I've encountered a few weapons from there before. They have a unique style that's easy to recognize. How's the audio, by the way? I don't know if, I don't think I've changed it since yesterday, but it might be a bit too loud. I sort of feel like it's too loud on my end. No, I've turned it down all the way, basically. How about yourself? We know that Wallace was accepted through Edmund's program, but what about you, Eris? Are you trying to ask me if I'm a noble? Sorry, I didn't mean... No need to apologize, although the answer to that question is a bit complicated. My family is quite wealthy, but I'm not sure if I'd consider them a part of the nobility. My family must own a merchant's guild or something. Yes, something like that. Okay. Interesting. Me! I wasn't quite sure what to make of you at first, but you are truly remarkable. Thanks, I think. I enjoyed watching you battle Lady Steelwind. I only hope the climax lived up to my expectations. Okay, that's enough. That was my first time watching a court trial. You were truly remarkable. Thank you. Were you in the gallery? I've always enjoyed watching physical battles in the theatre. Oh, she's dodging that question. But I see now that battles of wit can be just as entertaining to watch. Entertaining? Yeah, I know what you mean. You see, the odds are stacked against him. Then he suddenly pulls out this crazy deduction that steers the trial in his favour. I've never really thought of it like that. But I'm sure it's far more entertaining to be the one making the deductions. I'm not really sure what you mean. I practice law so that I can help those persecuted by the justice system. I don't really do it to entertain myself. Is that really true? Don't you find the experience even the least bit entertaining, Tyrion? Oh, she glitched herself there. That was weird. I wouldn't really put it that way. You're far too modest. You save people from the clutches of death. If you're clients, you might as well be a knight in shining armor. Ah, shit, I forgot to hit start recording. Oh well. Interesting. Earlier you said that you were studying illusion magic. I am. Did you want to ask me about the prosecution's theory? Yes, actually. How did you know? It was easy to guess after seeing you in the courthouse. Anyways, disguising an undead with an illusion is definitely possible. And as Lady Steelwind said, illusory disguise would be the best spell to use for that. What if someone created a freestanding illusion? A freestanding illusion? Yes, we know that Wallace didn't animate and disguise the professor's corpse. So what if the illusion wasn't disguising anything? Maybe someone created a freestanding illusion of Bellwether walking around. Something like that, one would probably use major illusion. Okay, cool. Mil Asso. Why? Why isn't Milugio or something like that? Milasso? Okay. Lost until dispelled. Concentration, yes. No gesture. Interesting. Creates a three-dimensional illusion. The illusion can take the form of any object or creature that is contained within 10 feet cube. While concentrating a cast, you can animate and move the image to a different location within range. The illusion is purely visual and can't be physically touched. So can that speak then? Can that make audio? Because it says purely visual. Can't be physically touched. So it can't have knocked over the vase. The vase? But it could, maybe, I don't think it can also make audio. But that it could have come from the statues. So they could have used this for the visual, maybe something else for the vase, and used the statues for the audio. I mean, it's possible. I don't know if the statues are programmed to tell people to be quiet, but it's possible. Interesting. Major illusion. What is it? I don't think major illusion is what we're looking for. Do you remember what Jan said? I was cleaning a mess in the hallways. Bellwether knocked over a vase, and there were shards and dirt everywhere. If the bellwether that Jan saw wasn't a major illusion, then she couldn't have knocked over that vase. Illusions created by that spell don't have any mass. I see, how perceptive of you. Aren't there any other illusion spells that do have mass? No. Illusions can only recreate visual and auditory sensations, so it can speak. Okay. There isn't a single illusion spell that someone can touch. So that means someone was disguised something to make it look like bellwether. Why the look of suspicion, Celeste? Sorry, I wasn't... Calm down, I'm only joking. I don't blame you for considering every possibility. In fact, I'm flattered you think I'm capable of pulling off such an elaborate ruse. Anyways, this does tell us one important thing. What's that? The bellwether that Jan saw had a physical mass to it. It wasn't a freestanding illusion. If someone or something disguised as disguised as bellwether. 30 minutes before the unannounced twins found the body, bellwether walked past Jan in the western hallway. He was in the past, she showed out of the way. After that, she knocked over a vase and shattered it. Even though Jan didn't say anything to her, she yelled at him to be quiet. After this interaction, she walked into level 2B. The bellwether witnessed by Jan must have been disguised with an illusion. In addition to that, whoever he saw that day was physically there. So if someone disguised as bellwether, or this is a red herring again. Gravestone. It's quite a shame, isn't it? Pensively at the gravestone. The name on the stone says Emily Grant, and her lifetime appears to be awfully short. Oh, that's right, Emily was who was in the sort of preamble to this case. There was someone that Wallace knew who was dying, I think, called Emily. She must have been only 12 years old when she died. Oh, dang. Maybe a little sister or something? Sorry for interrupting you. Was she someone you knew? Not personally. I'm actually here on Wallace's behalf. Wallace knew her. Wallace joined the academy as part of a program run by Headmaster Redmond. At the time, the headmaster was reaching out to mages among the common folk. He had started a program to admit these mages to the academy without having to pay tuition. I like this headmaster. He seems cool. I completely take back the idea that he may have done the murder. Both Emily and Wallace were among those mages. Wow, that must have been an amazing opportunity for them. The truth is, neither of them actually cared about learning magic. The real problem was that Emily had a terminal illness. She and Wallace were poor orphans, and they obviously didn't have the resources to treat it. But if they enrolled in the academy would have been obligated to give her medical treatment. The Imperial Academy teaches the best mages in the kingdom. They thought that curing her illness would be an easy task for the Academy's healers. But they were mistaken, I'm afraid. I'm sure you know this by now, but healing spells can only treat wounds, they can't cure illnesses. Emily's condition only got worse over the years, and eventually she succumbed to her illness. Wallace was furious. He didn't understand why the kingdom was outlawing magic that could save lives. And that's why he decided to learn it himself. Yes, the Academy was inspired by Wallace's resolve. He gave him access to the Academy's forbidden tomes of necromancy. But Wallace taught himself the spells that he knows today. So that's why it was supposed to stay a secret between him and the headmaster. Oh, she glitched again, but I'm sure you know how that turned out. I don't trust this girl. She's scary. Scary for an individual you don't know. Best to leave it undisturbed. Emily Grant, shame she died so young. You briefly say a brief prayer to Bahamut. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, okay, so you just don't know any of the rest of these. Doesn't seem to be anything else. Okay, detect magic.
Prepario Arcanum.
Okay, never mind. Is there anything else? This? Okay. What would be the fun in that? I have a feeling she knows exactly what happened. Is there anything else? Can I corpse? No, I don't think we can get too specific with this. So let's move to the foyer. Okay. There's still a lot we don't know. Yeah, we know that Wallace didn't kill her, but the true killer is... Did the true killer really murder her there? Okay. Next lead. Where should we go next? The prosecution believes that Wallace killed Bellwether in the library. Forgive me for burping. I've got Coca-Cola here, which should help with the burping, surely. We didn't really investigate that room the first time round. Might be able to find some new leads there. Alright, so we're going to the library. Okay. It does imply she knows everything. It does a little bit, yeah. Oh, it's you, Mr. Cuthbert. Sealwind, what are you doing here? After what happened at the trial yesterday, I did. It would be my best to start my investigation here. Also, I have asthma. Right, Wallace was in the library for the entire morning. chugging cola. So it makes sense that she'd start her search here. Actually, since I have you here, have you seen Eris Illmater anywhere? It's my understanding that you're both acquainted with each other. Eris, what do you want with her? It's not for anything serious, mind you. Just that oaf of a commander lost her spell compendium. Oh dang, I want to see her spell compendium. It's going to be full of dark shit. And now we need to produce another one for our records. If you see her, please let her know that we'd like to speak to her. We saw her earlier in the cemetery nearby, but I have no idea where she is now. Although knowing games like this, she's still there, just chilling out. Ugh, once again, I have to compensate for that idiot's mistakes. Anyways, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Very well, I suppose I still need to honour our deal from earlier. He really is Gumshoe, but just a little bit more rough, you know? He's a rougher Gumshoe. A rougher French Gumshoe. My fault. We can talk to you. Have you had any luck finding the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, I haven't. From the witnesses' testimonies, we have a rough idea of the route Bellwether took. But none of the rooms we've checked have any sign of a struggle. Why are you so sure that a struggle happened? I'm mainly bashing that off the Iana sisters' testimonies. Valerie, in particular, noticed that the bleeding came from a wound in her stomach. Regrettably, the body's wounds were mended. We can't determine what kind of weapon the murderer used. I'm so glad I figured that out, by the way, before it happened. As soon as I saw that there was blood on the floor and the body was mended, I knew. I had a feeling that the body was healed after the fight. Probably by necromancy, because that was what was on the corpse. During the trial, you mentioned that another witness saw Bellwether walking around yesterday. Would you be willing to tell us who that person is? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you that. Caught a little off guard. You've been pretty transparent with your investigation so far. What's changed? I have no obligation to justify myself to you, nor do I have any obligation to help with the opposition. Then do we have a deal? Hiding information doesn't exactly seem fair to us. I believe I've given you plenty of information already. So regardless of what I said before, the answer is still no. Her family is dangerous. Whose? Whose? Celeste's? The Eye of Horus catches a stray thought from her. Her family is dangerous? What does that mean? Is there something about this witness's family that you're worried about? No, this could be a feint. I'm sorry, but you have to try harder than that if you want to bluff me. But the witness is her. Furthermore, she said that her family is dangerous. Why would she go to such lengths to hide the witness's family? In any case, it looks like she's not willing to share more at the moment. Maybe you should try looking for somewhere else. Oops, sorry. God damn it. I accidentally went through this again. I'm sorry. I can present some things. This? No. I always end up presenting, like, weird shit. But I don't think I should continue to do so. I like that they have a slight difference. I'm glad they didn't just reuse the art. Jan? No. Right, let's move to the locker room. We've not been here. Spent some time wandering through the Arcane where you overheard a conversation from a nearby room. Oh, so we're just wandering around? Okay. From what I understand, Miss Steelwind has already moved the investigation elsewhere. How long must I wait before I can retrieve my things? Sorry, old timer. Orders are orders. Nothing comes in or out until this case is over and done with. Commander White, and the headmaster too. Oh, hello, Mr. Cuthbert. Hey, kid. In any case, there are other matters I must attend to. Please inform me when I can reclaim my things. Sure. I am from France, yes? Oui, oui. It looks like Commander White is standing guard in front of the locker room, and it does not look like he's conducting any sort of investigation. Is he here on Steelwind's orders? He might be able to tell you who this secret witness is. I know that wasn't him speaking, but I just wanted to keep going on the French. What was the headmaster you were talking to about? The orders that he has some items stored in one of the faculty lockers. The problem is, Steelwind said no one gets in or out of this room. Except for her and you two, apparently. She won't even let the other knights in here. Really, is that normal? No, but things really are when she's calling the shots. Why would she give you access to the crime scene if she wasn't letting the knights in? With the exception of you and Celeste McCoy, Professor Steelwind isn't allowing anyone inside key areas of the Academy. She isn't even allowing the Knights of the Inquisition within the areas. She appears to be conducting the investigation single-handedly. That's weird. That's weird, one, that they would point that out, and two, that we've been given evidence for this, which is very strange. I don't know what her deal is, but she's been acting strange lately. Strange lately. She's been real paranoid, that girl. Frankly, I cannot tell what's going through her head. Through her head. You mentioned that the prosecutor has been paranoid lately. Do you think it has something to do with this case? Nah, it started way before that. Lately, she's been using the Inquisition to investigate a lot of non-magical homicides. What? Wouldn't it be easier to work with the relevant law enforcement for that? I don't know why. But she's convinced that these cases have magic involved. But we scanned each and every one of these crime scenes, nothing turned up. I got to say though, if it weren't for the scans, I might actually agree with her. Why do you say that? These homicides, I haven't seen anything like them. They're probably some of the most screwed up cases I've ever handled. For one of the cases, we had ourselves a disgruntled spouse. She found out that her man was going around with a barkeep. And you know what the spouse does? She stalks the poor woman. She starts leaving questioning notes all around where she worked. The barkeep told the city watch all about what was happening. But no matter how much they staked out the ties, they could never catch the pup. Then one day, the barkeep arrived home. But little did she know the spouse was waiting there for her. The poor lady never had a chance. Then to tie the whole thing together, the spouse waits for her husband to get home. He cooks him a big roast using the barkeep's remains. Goodness gracious. That's kind of scary. Wow, that story is pretty... I know! Steelwind thinks that someone's developed a new type of magic that can control people's minds. As these homicides were some kind of sick test run. Magic that control people's minds? Oh god, is that Eris? Oh god, is that Eris? But wouldn't Mage Bite make more sense? Mage Bite? When a mage overuses their magic, it can have pretty bad consequences on their mind. They temporarily lose grip of reality and begin seeing things that aren't there. When a mage becomes like that, it almost never ends well. They enter a frenzy and begin firing spells randomly, which can only make it worse. Wait, when they do what? When they use too many spells? Overuses their magic. Okay, I wonder if that's got like a limit per day, or sort of like a... oh god, you know, kind of thing. I don't know if it's like a threshold that goes down. If it's like a limited number of spells per lifetime, I don't know what that means. I've seen my fair share of mage bite cases, and this is not like that. Not all of the perps were mages, and the ones that were didn't even use their magic. One thing was that each of the perps almost seemed to wake up after we arrested them. All of them said things like, "It wasn't me," or "I didn't have a choice." They didn't have a choice? What could that mean? I doubt it means anything. Sometimes people can't face the things they've done. It's easier to say that you have no control when you than to take responsibility. Mana pool or something, I suppose. Yeah, maybe. Mana per day, I suppose, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll get more of that in the future. I mean, this guy's just like passed it off, but if you've got so many cases like that it's worth explaining to someone else, I think it's more than a coincidence at that point, but I don't know why he brushed it off. You wonder if you can mislead the commander into revealing who the secret witness is. Wow, this is fun. During the trial, Miss Steelwind mentioned that someone other than Jan Hughes saw the bellwether walking around. Have you seen them around lately? We wanted to speak with them. Nice try, kid. Well, it was worth a shot. Honestly, I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. I don't think anyone else than Steelwind knows who this witness is. I sure as hell don't. What? She's even hiding it from the Inquisition commander. Why is she being so secretive? Looks like the commander doesn't know who this secret witness is either. This isn't getting us anywhere. Steelwind's behavior is strange, though. You could try analyzing her behavior. If you do that, you might be able to find a way to convince her to help you. Okay, Steelwind's behavior has been strange this time around. She's hiding elements of this case even from the commander. Anyone can tell she doesn't have much faith in him. I'm standing right here. But this is the first time I've seen her hide key details of a case from him. What is motivating Steelwind to keep secrets? There has to be a reason why she's being so secretive. Paranoia? I think it's paranoia. Her actions must be driven by paranoia. She's been hiding information about the case. There's only one reason why she wouldn't want to utilize the Inquisition like she usually does. It's because she doesn't trust them. I hate to say it, but that does not really surprise me. She's always been standoffish with us. But there is one exception. Who has Steelwind trusted for this case? There are individuals who she's trusted more than the Inquisition during this case. Not White. Not Wallace. The headmaster? I think it's us, isn't it? She let us investigate the crime scene without any restrictions. Yeah, I never really thought about it like that. Does she trust us that much? I don't really think personal trust is the reason. We don't usually interact with her. She's worked with the Inquisition on plenty of cases that we weren't even involved with. Oh, this one's more difficult. So we're not an option. Tyrion... Oh, no, I'm an option. Tyrion... is... no. A member of the Inquisition? No. Why does Steelwind trust us this time? I don't know. I don't know. I actually have no idea. Is it that... I don't know. Tyrion... Well, it's going to be about us, right? Trust us this time, surely. Tyrion isn't a member of the nobility? Key difference between us and the Inquisition. Answer to anyone, we aren't subject to corruption. Isn't capable of using magic? No. Alright. Isn't controlled by Inquisition? Oh, damn it. The nobility? There we go. I got there. Oh, that doesn't bode well. This is the second case. I'm already having to guess these shit. Steelwind doesn't know much about us, but she does know that we aren't prone to noble corruption. Right, you indicted a noble during the last case. Meanwhile, the Inquisition usually bends to the nobility's whims. Well, I cannot argue with you there. Even. What can you infer about the secret witness? Maybe they're a part of the nobility? Using my insight, I could tell that she's worried about the witness's family. And if she's worried about corruption from the nobility, that can only mean one thing. The witness is a noble. The witness has to belong to a noble family. Oh, did the music just go from like a lower level to like a more... I think that might be it. What's that skull for, no, Toby? The witnesses belong to a noble family. That's why she's wary of interference. But we're obviously not going to do anything corrupt. Why is she hiding the witness's identity from us? You were causing a thought from the eye. Her family is dangerous. I think she's worried about our safety. Yeah, I guess harassing a noble could put you in danger. But I'm the protege of the infamous Ruby Tamora. Yeah, it's not as if we aren't already on the nobility's bad side. I'm sure the Pierce family still has it out for us. This could only mean that the family we're dealing with is even more powerful than House Pierce. If the prosecutor is wary of them, they could even be as powerful as the Steelwinds. Wait, don't tell me you think we're dealing with one of the 4 pillars. Abel's skull of foreshadowing. Oh gosh, oh no. 4 pillars? It's a name for people use for the top 4 noble houses. Families stand at the top of the kingdom's aristocracy. If I recall correctly, the 4 pillars are House Frigga, House von Sanctus, House Sybil, and House Steelwind. I think we've heard of House Frigga. I don't know about these 2. Definitely Steelwind we know about. Frigga, I feel like I've heard about it, but I can't remember where from. Steelwind is a part of one of them. Yes, which makes it so much weirder that she's serving as a prosecutor. Cool, okay. What is it? Steelwind's weird behaviors all started after she investigated this room. We were at the crime scene and she left a 4-way lead. But an hour later she came back to the lecture hall and booted everyone out. Her behavior changed after investigating this room. That means that she found something here. That something must point to a family from the 4 pillars. Commander looks a bit anxious. You know, Steelwind's orders say I can't snoop around here, but you 2 on the other hand. Don't worry, leave it to us. I have some school records that says which locker belongs to which student. You can use it to tell whose locker you're looking at. Interesting. Arcane construct in the back there. It's probably here to aid the students. Anyway, I don't think it's relevant to our investigation. All note of it anyways. Inactive Arcane construct in the Academy locker. Cool. Because the rest have some notable student names. Miriam Frigga is one of them. Actually, I think all of these are... Well, the walls we know about, Sybil, Von Sanctus, and Frigga. Open the locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number. Inside you find a stack of worn-out textbooks and notebooks. Wait a minute, these notebooks all have Wallace's name on them. Open the notebook and look through the pages. It appears to be research on the art of necromancy. These are Wallace's notebooks. But why are they in Miriam Frigga's locker? Did Miriam steal his things? What's going on here? You can still let's check the locker more thoroughly. Wait a minute! Tyrion, take a look at this! That's blood! Stain of blood inside the locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number. Oh, dearie me. Use the legend that the commander gave you. Look carefully across the list and find some notable student names. Oh, we're back here. Let's check out all of them. Find a bottle of fragrant liquid and something that looks like a makeup kit. I didn't expect Wallace to use stuff like this. That seems strange, but it's not your place to judge. Maybe they swapped the name tags over though. That feels awfully suspect. But then there'd be blood in Wallace's locker, which would be bad. Jaden? Several bottles of some kind of transparent lotion. There's nothing but lotion in here. I wonder why a student would need this much lotion. Take one of the bottles to inspect it more closely. Well, wait, Tyrion, don't touch those with your hands. Some kind of sanitizing liquid. A little strange, but it doesn't seem to be related to the case. Okay. I feel like that is going to be related somehow. Warren Sybil's, find some textbooks and tarot cards. Like the cards that those fortune tellers use. I wonder if this student studies divination magic. Anyways, I don't think this is related to the case. Right. We found a few things, but I can't really make sense of any of it. We should look at this from the prosecutor's perspective. Stillwind found something in one of the lockers. Answer whatever that was, it made her extremely paranoid. Yeah. That was on the answer for me. No matter how I look at it, we found some insanely suspicious things in Frigga's locker. It had Wallace's notebooks and even some blood. That blood is certainly strange. Why is there something bloody was stored there? Do you think someone stole it? No, actually, I think it was Steelwind who took it. All right. Oren mentioned that she investigated this room. She must have taken the bloody item as evidence. But with that said, there's something else that's strange about Miriam Frigga's locker. It had a lot of Wallace's possessions. It's possible that she really did steal these things from him. But it's more likely that this locker isn't actually hers. Remember what Wallace told us before. Sometimes the other students would steal the ID number off my locker, and they'd switch it with the number of another locker. They thought it was funny whenever the student who owned that locker got angry with me. So someone switched the nameplates. This means that it isn't Miriam Frigga's locker, it was Wallace's. Yeah, I forgot about that, but I did think maybe they'd switch them. That would mean that the bloody object came from Wallace's locker. It appears so. Instead of saying someone must have switched the ID numbers of Miriam's locker, but what if they didn't in this case? Maybe. But if that's true, why didn't Steelwind present the bloody item during the trial? I proved that Bellwether was wounded before Valerie healed her. Wouldn't that have been the perfect time to present what she found? It was a bloody item found in the defendant's locker after all. She could have easily proved that the nameplates were switched too. Right, that is weird. Something more to this than you aren't seeing, but what? I think we'll just have to ask Steelwind ourselves. Can't I examine regularly? I can't examine regularly? Oh, okay. Alright, fine. What if I present this? No. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go to let's jump back to Steelwind. Oh, you're back. We've uncovered a few things about her during our investigation. Miss Steelwind, are you acquainted with a student named Miriam Frigga? I underestimated him. I said it before, Mr. Cuthbert, or I won't fall for such an obvious bluff. It's not a bluff, Miss Steelwind. I'll prove it using the evidence we've gathered. Yay! We get to do an argument. Hell yeah. However, for whatever reason, it's due to the involvement of Miriam Frigga. If you can convince her to reveal why she's being so secretive, she might give you more information. Let's do this! Argument! You've been behaving strangely, Steelwind. Let's check this quickly. Even the Knights of the Inquisition have noticed. Extremely logical and won't accept arguments that aren't supported by evidence. However, she has become secretive lately and her actions seem to be stemmed from paranoia. She's uneasy about case elements that relate to Miriam Frigga and she's very inclined to hide Frigga's involvement from the court at all costs. Okay. Please just tell me, why are you being so paranoid? I'm not sure that what you're trying to imply, Mr. Cuthbert. Nothing about my behavior has changed. I've approached this case objectively, just like I have with every other case. No, you have not. Where's the thing that said she wasn't letting anyone else in? Oh, it's that. You've ordered the knights to stay away from the crime scene, and you've even taken it upon yourself to conduct the investigation yourself. That is not normal behavior for a prosecutor. I took those actions because the Inquisition is incompetent. How could I possibly trust them with anything? The knights are incompetent, but even you could see the value of delegation. During Celeste's case, you still delegated tasks to the Inquisition, and you could have easily investigated the McCoy Tavern yourself. This academy is huge. You wouldn't conduct your investigation this way unless you had a good reason. Then why don't you enlighten me? Why would I act in such a way? What would cause me to behave so strangely? Miriam Frigga? Miriam Frigga? Oh, wait. This, right? You know that the Inquisition is corrupt and will bend to the nobility. What would happen if a powerful noble were publicly involved in this case? With that noble's influence, you could probably order the Inquisition to conceal their involvement. A high-profile noble is involved in this case, Steelwind. And I believe that noble is Miriam Frigga. Again with this, do you think you can bluff me by throwing out the names of random nobles? Not every noble is a malevolent criminal like Garrick Pierce. I've said it before and I'll say it again. My investigation doesn't involve the Friggas. Nothing about this case has anything to do with House Frigga. Yes, it does. But how do you explain this, Steelwind? The conductor told us that you were following a lead in the locker room yesterday. We investigated the lockers of students from the poor Pill families. We found stains of blood in the locker with Miriam Frigga's ID number, and it was presumably left by a bloody object. The bloody object was taken by someone. We heard that you became extremely paranoid after you found something in the locker room. If I had to guess, I'd say that you took the bloody object as evidence. And what evidence do you have to support these outrageous claims? What? The only thing you have is evidence of a blood stain. There is a myriad of explanations for that. Everything else you mentioned is pure speculation. You can't prove that piece of evidence exists. I could have found any number of things in that room, or possibly nothing at all. You're hiding evidence for Steelwind? I do not see how wrong that is. That won't work. Let's not be coy, Miss Steelwind. Anyone can tell that the blood stain is the most notable thing in the room. To present what you found in the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. Ooh. She is paranoid. She is paranoid. She is paranoid. Look, threatening would work. And she wants to hide it from the court. I think threaten is the way. It's fabled skull of... I already read that. You found an object in the locker with Miriam Frigga's nameplate on it. You don't present what you found to the court, I'll have no choice but to pull the owner of that locker onto the stand. That's ridiculous. We both know that the locker in question belongs to Wallace Nightgrave. Can you unequivocally prove that to Miss Steelwind? Because the way I see it, there's a lot of room for doubt there. Enough room for doubt for me to pull Miss Frigga onto the witness stand. But if I had more context, maybe I wouldn't have to resort to that. Argument 1. We'll take it. Hell yeah. Well played, Mr. Cuthbert. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? Hell yeah. Tell me. Just so we're clear, I wasn't acting to protect the nobility. But I'll admit that Miriam Frigga was the other witness who saw Bellwether that day. I see. I had some suspicions, but there's also another matter. Steelwind looks uneasy. When I was investigating the body, I found this. A tightly packed folder containing several documents. The documents contain evidence detailing multiple instances of plagiarism, fraud, bribery of school officials, and various other offences committed by Miriam Frigga. And you kept this from the court yesterday? Are you kidding me? You what? What the? It looks like Miriam has been cheating at school. But why would Bellwether have something like this? From the way it's arranged, I think it may have been blackmail. Miriam Frigga is considered a prodigy in the practice of conjuration magic. She's won a litany of awards, and she will most definitely graduate with honours. If these files were to reach the public, it would absolutely ruin her reputation, I think that's it. Do you think that the professor was trying to threaten her? It appears so. When I discovered that several elements of the case were still unknown, I decided to look through her belongings. I mistakenly looked through the locker with her ID. I found this in that locker. Oh my god. You found evidence of blackmail and a fucking weapon in the locker of a student. And the blackmailer was killed. And you pulled another student as the primary suspect just because he studied something that was used to heal someone else. This case is angering me. You found a sword, milady? Are you fucking blind? It's found in Wallace Nightgrave's locker. Wow, apparently it's a... Oh, it was found in Wallace's locker. Okay. A valuable family heirloom to House Frigga. It was reportedly stolen by Miriam Frigga weeks before the murder. Oh, good. Stolen. That's fun. This is... It's very unlikely that this is the murder weapon. It's very likely that this is the murder weapon. This rapier is a valuable family heirloom from House Frigga. A few weeks ago, Miriam reported that the rapier was stolen from her room. Oh, Miriam reported? Oh. And then it was found in Wallace's locker. Not that I'm complaining, but why didn't you present this in court? Exactly. To be honest, I'd like to avoid involving House Frigga by any means necessary. I knew it. You're just protecting her, aren't you? Miss McCoy, do you recall how Wyvern justice system works? To acquit a defendant, you need to unequivocally prove that they didn't commit the crime. To do that, they either need a solid alibi, or need to prove that someone else committed the crime. What do you suppose will happen if you bring Miriam Frigga onto the stand? House Frigga won't allow one of its members to be indicted in a court of law. They'll plant and forge evidence to implicate your defendant, and they'll use the Inquisition to do so. So that's why you've been keeping them away from the investigation. Can't you do anything? The Steelwinds are powerful too, aren't they? I don't have the support of my house. Right now, I'm just a prosecutor and nothing more. Steelwind, you know that this isn't fair for us. Just do nothing. Do nothing and let us win. Celeste! If we can't go after Miriam, then you can at least let her help us save Wallace. I'm not going to do that. Why? What if Miriam Frigga is the real killer? Her sword is the murder weapon, and Bellwether was trying to blackmail her. I seem to recall another case where an innocent person's sword was used to frame them. But that's... As a prosecutor, it is not my place to decide who's guilty and who's not. Yes, it is, isn't it? I won't engage in corruption, even if it's to counter corruption from another noble house. I'm sorry. Do you know where Miriam is right now? Didn't you hear what I just said? You can't let her think that there's even the slightest possibility that you'll indict her. You'll bring the entire wrath of House Frigga down on you. Regardless, I can't do anything for Wallace unless I know everything that happened. Frigga has the last piece I need to put everything together. Well, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Her dormitory is room 107. I imagine she'll be there, considering classes are suspended. Thank you, Miss Steelwind. If I don't tell you, I'm sure you'll probably just find out using some other means. But please, Mr. Cuthbert, be careful. I like her. She's alright. She's a cool person. Let's go. Let's fuck her. Oh my god, her room is black. What is this room? Please don't tell me all of the dorms look like this. I'm scared of this woman already. She's gonna be like painted to be evil, like Garrick Pierce was. You follow Miss Steelwind's directions and find Miriam Frigga's dorm room. The door leading inside seems a lot more ornately decorated than the other dorms. Alright, okay. You go to knock on the door, but you don't realize that it's only partially closed. As your fist comes in contact with the wood, you accidentally push the door wide open. Oh, it's this prick. That's right. The second certified bitch. Disgruntled student. Oh, she was talking yesterday, though. She was talking before... Was it before the case? I think it was. I can't remember what she was saying. Oh. Excuse me? How dare you barge into my room? These insects have no respect. Yeah, fuck off. Sorry, I meant to knock, but... Construct, remove these hoodlums from my room. Acknowledged. Go into the room, and Arcane Construct stands up and starts making its way towards you. Or you can protest, it raises its fist to hit you. Oh, that's cool. Wait, can I see that properly? You only have enough time to raise your arms and brace yourself for the impact. Close your eyes and wait for the blow. Instead, you hear a clang of steel against steel. Confused, you open your eyes and see Celeste standing between you and the construct. She is kind of a badass. I like that. That was my problem with Maya Fey, is that she kept being kidnapped. I have a feeling this girl isn't going to be kidnapped. I mean, I get it. You can't really do anything if you're just... I suppose. Right click to remove the text box. I wish I'd known that. One dialogue box before. I discovered that by accident. Her sword is drawn and she's using it to block the construct's fist. While I'm taking a closer look at Celeste, the student stares curiously at her. Construct, stand down. Acknowledged. I'm terribly sorry for that. I wasn't aware that this was your servant. Oh, goodness gracious. She is a bitch. Celeste looks angry but puts away her sword without a word. I haven't noticed you around campus. Are you a new student? If she has a personal attendant, she must be important. What? See an opportunity. Yes, my master just enrolled here recently. What? Celeste gives you a puzzled look, but you make a silent gesture back. After a moment, she seems to realize what you're doing. Yes, I just started here. I take it you're Miriam Frieger? Yes, I'm honored that you recognize me. Occupation student? Are we doing this nonsense again? That is not an occupation. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, miss. I'm Celeste. Catches herself and pauses for an awkward moment. Steelwind. I'm Celeste Steelwind. Can't believe it. There's no way she's going to believe. Steelwind? It's a pleasure to meet another member of an esteemed house. I keep changing my voice for her, I'm sorry. She must be from a branch family. Maybe I can use her. She's actually buying this? Okay, she's an idiot. I just moved in, and I thought I should introduce myself. Seeing as you're a top student in the field of conjuration. Conjuration? Yes. Wait, what did she say? Conjugation? Good stuff. Well, there's no backing out now. I missed that. Alright, questions. Miss Frieger, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about... Excuse me, I don't believe anyone has permitted you to speak. I'm basically doing Hermione Granger. Oh, here we go. Celeste is still smiling, but you can apparently hear her grinding her teeth together. That doesn't make it a sound, does it? So we heard about what happened to Professor Bellwether. I can't believe it. Yes, it's quite tragic what happened to her. She's always been an acquaintance of House Frieger. She appears to be more receptive to Celeste. I'd be better to let her take the lead on the questioning. Okay. We heard that you saw her on the day of the murder. Could you tell us more about what happened? Oh, you heard that from your relative, did you? You don't mind me asking, why are you so interested? She's not like Arya, is she? Oh, you know, I'm just curious is all. You know how uneventful life can be sometimes. Being a noble and all. Alright, tone it down. Oh, is that all? I was worried you were going down the same path as that poor, confused Arya. Arya? Arya? I think it's Arya. What does she mean by that? But I'm in the middle of a study break anyways. I suppose I have some time to sate your curiosity. Is sate? Yeah, it's sate. Construct, please prepare us some tea. Use that lotus tea we imported from the Eastern Kingdom. She could be useful if I can win her favor. I wonder if this text will stop, or if it'll just continue forever across the screen until it disappears. I acknowledge. Lotus tea? You have lotus juice? Like you're slowly losing control of the situation? What do you see? I heard that you saw the professor on the day of the murder. Where did this happen? I was in the hallways when I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. He was heading towards the library. Do you remember what time this happened? I'm not really sure, honestly. It's a little embarrassing, but I have a bad habit of getting too absorbed in my work. Sometimes I'll let entire hours pass by without noticing. Do you have a rough idea, at least? I think it was in the morning. She thinks it was in the morning? I think the text bounces on an invisible barrier. Oh, does it really? Okay. Anyways, did something seem off about her? No, it was a short encounter. I merely greeted her, and then she responded in kind. At least that's what should have happened. That's weird, isn't it? I thought just now, what does it mean? Slowly glance at Celeste and catch her attention. Small motion, she shook her head to indicate that Miriam was holding something back. Were you and the Celeste really on good terms? I heard that she was pretty mean towards the other students. Towards the riff-raff, maybe, but not to students like us. She was a great ally to House Frieger, or at least she used to be. Ooh. That's why we were planning on appointing her as the new headmaster. Wait, what did you just say? New headmaster? Did you just say that your family was going to appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster? Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know. House Frieger holds several seats on the Academy's board. We were making plans to have her replace that lout Redmond. We're going to sack the headmaster? Did Headmaster Redmond know about this? Oh, of course not. This was part of a large-scale plan. Along with Redmond, we were going to replace all the staff with arcane constructs. We were going to keep everything under wraps, or else the help would have left prematurely. And where would that leave us? Jan supposedly overheard Bellwether talking about the constructs. Did Bellwether prematurely reveal the plan, or was Jan lying about how we found out? But alas, with Bellwether gone, we'll have to delay our plans. Plan to fire Headmaster Theodore Redmond and replace him with Captain Bellwether. All of the Academy staff from placement with Arcane construct. It's supposed to be kept a secret, but according to Jan, Betherwell revealed the plan to the headmaster during a meeting a few weeks ago. Interesting. Figures rapier. So we heard that Arya took your rapier as evidence for the case. Can you believe her? She still won't give it back to me. My father will have my head if I can't get it soon. How did it even become a part of this investigation anyways? I don't know. Arya won't tell me anything. I swear, if that necromancer was the one who stole it, I'll execute him myself. So someone did steal it from you? Yes, from right out of my room. When did this happen? About a few weeks ago. I noticed it when I came back from one of my classes. Someone removed the rapier from its display case in my room. How did they get into your room in the first place? Do you think someone used magic to teleport past the door? Please, I'm a master of conjuration magic. If someone attempted that, my enchantments would have shunted them out. This means that the thief came through one of the doors or windows. I bet it was that necromancer. I'm sure a street kid like him just knows how to pick a lock. Yeah, she's a right bitch. I've heard that you're one of the Academy's top students. Your grades must be amazing. Of course. As the inheritor of House Frigga, my grades are impeccable. Feels good to have my greatness recognized. It's strange, you don't see anything contradictory through the eye this time. He suggested towards Celeste to continue pressing her. What kind of magic do you study here? You must be joking. I study magic from the School of Conjuration. It's just like most members of my house. The School of Conjuration? That's the type of magic that specializes in spatial manipulation and teleportation, right? Yes, I consider myself quite the expert in that field. Why, the Crown Prince himself has asked my assistance in research study. It's nice to work with someone of my caliber. Don't see any thoughts that contradict what she's saying. Is she not lying? If she's smart enough to get the Crown Prince's attention, why should she be cheating? I wonder if someone was cheating for her. Maybe. Maybe? I don't know. This is getting really complicated. I actually don't really know. I have no idea anymore. I'm beginning to think it's not her. I think she's too stupid, honestly. You said something about my wayward relative before. Were you talking about Arya? I'm terribly sorry if I offended you. But I'm sure it must pain you to see the way that she's been acting lately. Yes, it's been... Oh, that... No, thank you, Dad, thanks. Yes, it's been extremely hard. Hang in there, Celeste. Did you know that she even interrogated me about the murder yesterday? Can you believe it? A Steelwind running around a crime scene like a common knight. Why, if I tried something like that, my father would disown me. Does the nobility not approve of Steelwind becoming a prosecutor? Of course they don't. We always thought that this was strange. What is motivating her to do this? Honestly, she probably thinks she can do anything just because of her betrothed. Aster deserves better. Ooh, who's Aster? Celeste's eyes perk up upon hearing this. You'd be lying if you weren't always also curious about who this Aster was. Be sure a stern look that tells her to stay focused. Can't miss blowing your cover for some gossip. You have an arcane construct in your room. I thought they only had them in the library and the locker room. This construct was given from House von Sanctus. I have to say they're quite convenient to have around. They look really cool, maybe I should get one. You should. Construct will be far more useful than this attendant of yours. Unfortunately, there are still some issues with their intelligence. Their intelligence? There are some issues when you give them complex commands. It might be easier to show you. Miriam turns to the constructs and begins gesturing towards it. Construct, please retrieve my textbooks and bring them here. Then cast Steelwind Strike at this location. After that, it retrieves some plates and set them out on this table. Acknowledged. But what? Construct stands up and retrieves Miriam's textbooks from one of the shelves in the room. Brings them to the table you're sitting at, just like she ordered. By the way, Steelwind Strike is a spell from D&D that does a lot of damage, so I don't want to know how this turns out if it works. But then it suddenly stops moving. Wait, what happened? The construct obviously can't cast Steelwind Strike, so my second command was impossible to carry out. But did you notice something else? It ignored your third command too. Correct. My third command was possible to carry out. Why did it ignore that command? Constructs execute a series of commands in the order that they are given. But let's say one of these tasks is impossible to complete. When the construct gets to the task, it'll deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it'll stop executing the series altogether. So if a task in a series of commands is impossible, then the command will interrupt the series of commands. Exactly. If construct is ordered... Okay, cool. I wonder if they cast disguised person on the construct and then had it walk through to 2B. That's possible as well. There's so many possibilities because of magic. I really do like how I thought like the things in Phoenix Wright seemed completely ludicrous, but with magic, this game really does open up like a lot of interesting concepts, like constructs and disguise spells and shit like that. I think it's very cool. Lady Steelwind, I'm afraid we must leave now if we want to make our next engagement. Oh, right. Let's go, servant. Oh, leaving already? It was a pleasure talking to you. Yes, sure. Hope to see you around. Must make your way back to the foyer with Celeste. With all the time you spent, you only have a brief amount of time before night falls. Of course, night is falling now. Time in this world is like a esoteric concept. Are you sure you don't want to talk to her more? We were getting a lot out of her. Well, we already got a lot of useful information out of her. The more time we spend with her, the more likely she'll see through our ruse. Hey, finishing my MTG tournament. Playing Watch My Phone while sorting my cards out. Hell yeah, nice to see you, Eds. Toby is here. Right. So why Steelwind? I don't know, I panicked. Arya was like the only noble I know. What about Pierce? I'm not using that creep's name. Well, hopefully Steelwind doesn't mind us borrowing her name. And we got a statement on what she saw that day. And there's also what she said about her rapier. I bet she was lying when she said it was stolen. She's probably trying to establish an alibi. I'm not so sure. Why do you say that? Doesn't it feel too obvious? She was lying about the rapier being stolen. That would imply that she planned all of this in advance. If she had to choose a murder weapon, why would she choose something that literally has her name on it? I don't understand if the murder was spurred of the moment. She just used something nearby. But if this was a premeditated murder committed by Miriam, that rapier would be the last weapon she would choose. Right, I guess that makes sense. There's also the evidence of academic dishonesty. It doesn't match up with what we heard from Miriam. I mean all that stuff about working with the Crown Prince. She's probably just making things up to look good in front of me. I have an insight when it comes to things like this. Under normal circumstances, I can usually tell when someone is lying. A lie as grandiose as that would have something I could definitely see through. People can subconsciously shield themselves from the eye of Horus even if they don't know about it. When they do that, you usually can't see any thoughts from them. Also saw she was lying about her encounter with Bellwether. You would have seen dissonant thoughts if she was lying about her grades. I think someone is lying for her about her grades, and she actually thinks she's that great. I don't know who that would be, though. Anyway. Well, I guess I'll trust your insight. What does this mean? I don't know. Even with everything we found, I'm not sure who the real culprit is. At the very least, I think we should try to pull Miriam onto the stand. If she testifies in court, I might be able to find something I can use. But that's a big maybe. If you don't play your cards right, you might spook the figures enough for them to pay off the judge. Either way, it's getting late. We should probably have to turn in soon. Yeah. I just hope you did enough to acquit Wallace. Alright, gosh. Let's do our best. We didn't really uncover much today. If anything, I just got more confused. I'm not really sure what's going on now. It's interesting. Hello! I love the judge doing his lead-up to the bonk on the table. It's funny. Court is now resumed for the trial of Wallace Nightgrave. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. It was revealed that the trace of necromancy may have not left by the defendant. It may have been left by the witness who used necromancy to attempt to heal the victim. However, the victim was seen by the victim well after her time of death. This could only be explained by the defendant using necromancy to animate the victim's body. This was the question: where did the murder take place? Does the prosecution have an answer for this? Based on several witness testimonies, it is very likely that the murder took place in the library. Interesting. What led you to this conclusion, Mr. One? First, I'd like to remind the court where the victim was sighted before the body was found. It began when the victim had a meeting with the headmaster near the center of the building. Our meeting was scheduled for 12 p.m. According to my schedule for that day, our meeting lasted for an hour. I'm still kind of sus of the headmaster, if I'm honest with you. I don't know why, because everything about him so far seems to be he's a great guy, and he was about to be He was about to be... He was about to be fired by them, so I don't know anymore. I'm so confused. This brings us to the statement of the next witness, a student at the academy. The student saw the victim walking in the hallways. I saw her coming out of the headmaster's office. He was heading towards the library. Which means that our first witness saw Bellwether leave the headmaster's office. Presumably this would have happened after her meeting there, which would time this encounter at around 1 PM. The other event is the discovery of the body, which was when Valentina Iannis contacted security. I suddenly spotted the professor lying in a pool of blood in the classroom. Valentina used a communication device to call for help while I tried to save her. As we've already established, this event occurred at 3:04 PM, but the significance of this time is in what occurred before the body was discovered. The second witness, a member of the cleaning staff, spotted the victim in the West Wing hallway. Bellwether knocked over a vase, and there were shards and dirt everywhere. Probably 20 to 30 minutes before the twins found the body. This meant that the encounter must have happened no later than 2:30 PM. And this implies that the victim was near the library between 1 PM and 2:30 PM. According to the defendant's statements, he was in the library during this time period. Furthermore, the time of death was around 2:07 PM. This means that the second witness must have seen the victim's animated body. Goodness gracious me. Prosecutor's little theory lays out the following timeline. Okay, so 12 to 1, Redmond meets with Bellwether. 1 PM, Miriam sees Bellwether walking in the hallways. 1 to 2 PM, Bellwether spent time in the library. 2 PM to 2:30, Wallace Nightgrave murdered Bellwether, but supposedly. This is Bellwether walking towards Lecture Hall 2B. Iana's sisters find Bellwether's body at 3. This is going to be such a crazy thing to wrap my head around, I feel. I'm scared. I say, the abduction remains certainly tracked, Mr. Wynn. What do you have to say in your defense, Mr. Cuthbert? The prosecution's argument is definitely well thought out, Your Honor. However, it is entirely predicated on the testimonies of all the witnesses involved. Sealman's deduction has to have a hole somewhere. Since your conversation yesterday, you've had a feeling that Miriam is hiding something. If you want to get to the truth, you'll need to drag that out of her through a cross-examination. Your Honor, to justify the validity of these claims, the defense would like both of these witnesses to testify. The defense calls Miriam Frieger to the stand. Oh God. Oh, I'm really looking forward to the interaction where Frieger realizes that Celeste is not who she said she was. Frieger? At the mention of her name, the judge's face turns a bit pale. I had a feeling it would come to this. Do you have any objections, Mr. Wynn? I do not, Your Honor. Very well. Bailiff, please escort Lady Frieger to the stand. Is she just nearby? I never really understand when they're just like, oh, go and get that person who we didn't expect to be here. Like, was she just chilling out nearby? I mean, they've got teleportation circles. They could just be like, okay, let's go across the world, grab you, come back. I mean, that helps. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the... You little snakes! How dare you deceive me? Oh, it looks like she found out. I had the opportunity to debrief the witness beforehand. Miss McCoy, for the record, I told you to exercise discretion. I did not mean that you should impersonate a member of my family. Yeah, sorry about that. I gave you all of the tea that I imported from the Eastern Kingdoms. I demand that you return it to me. No, you gave them to me. They're legally mine now. I'm not sure what your business, what the witness is, Miss McCoy, but I ask that you please handle your personal disputes outside the courtroom. Anyways, Miriam, could you please testify to the court about your encounter with the victim? Very well. I don't think she's the murderer, even though she's a right bitch. I don't think she's the murderer. I think there's something else going on that even she's like not aware of. I was working on a research project in my dorm room when I decided to take a break. I left my room and went for a walk. That's when I saw Professor Bellwether exiting the headmaster's office. She was walking in my direction, so I greeted her and she responded in kind. After that, she headed towards the library. Short time after that, I went back to my room and continued my work. I to a very brief encounter. However brief it was, the witness's testimony verifies two things. One is that Miss Frieger saw the professor exiting the headmaster's office. The other is that she witnessed the victim head towards the library. This gives us a rough timeline of where the victim was before her death. That does seem consistent. Did Bellwether really enter the library that day? I feel like you would have seen her there if she did. Mr. Cuthbert, you are beginning your cross-examination. Cool. Let's press on this. Was this research project a part of your schoolwork? It was an independent study to develop a new conjuration spell formula. The project is being sponsored by the Crown Prince himself. I wasn't aware that he was involved in such a study. Of course you wouldn't. Did you expect to know every aspect of his life, dear Arya? That's a bit of aggression. Don't keep an eye on him, House Frigga might just steal him from you. As if His Highness would align himself with your rapacious family. Oh, is she betrothed to the Crown Prince? That's fun. Our banking houses form the economic infrastructure of our kingdom. Perhaps he'll come to the Steelwinds if he needs to clear a den of goblins. With all due respect, can we please focus on the matter at hand? Of course, Your Honor. Of course, Your Honor. Left my room and went for a walk. Press! Are you sure that you saw her exit the headmaster's office? Yes, I remember it clearly. I was surprised that she was still meeting with the headmaster at all. Must be working out the plotting to replace him. Did you interact with the professor at all, Miriam? Did anything seem off about her? No, but it was a very short encounter. Not as if we stopped to have a conversation. You said that you greeted her and she responded. What words did she use? Why is that important? Miss Frigga, it's possible that someone used illusion magic that day. Every detail about the victim's interactions could be important. I'm so glad you've said that. Well, I bid her good morning, and she said good morning in response. Is that... I don't think we can do anything with that. Did you see her enter the library? I didn't, but there's not much else in that direction. From the testimony of Jan Hughes, we know that she later came from the library. Even if she didn't enter the library, she was still in that area for more than an hour. Oh wait, good morning can't be right! Because it was afternoon. And at least Bellwether definitely knew that. Because we know that Frigga loses track of time, but I think Bellwether knew it can't have been morning. The time is useful! The time, it's useful, I remembered! Oh, I'm so glad I picked up on that! We're still going to press on everything. How long did you leave your dorm room? Because the only reason I picked up on that is because it showed that she was scared of that. But I feel like I might have missed that otherwise. Although maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I would have been fine. I mean, she did change portrait. You could tell she was scared anyway. Only for a few minutes. I try not to let my breaks go on for too long. And you didn't see the professor again after your first encounter? No, I did not. Her testimony seems pretty straightforward, but she could still be lying. I'm honestly not sure. We'll have to focus on her statements about how Bellwether acted. I think it's... Yeah, that can't be right. That can't be right, because it was not... Where's the thing? Is it down here? Oh, okay, it's there. I have to scroll. Alright, yeah, it can't be right. Objection! Haha. Massive head, 6-head spouse coming in. Miss Frigga, if I recall correctly, you have a habit of getting absorbed in your work. So much so that you'll even lose track of time of the day. Yes, but what does that have to do with my testimony? Earlier in today's proceedings, the prosecutor made the following argument. Our first witness saw Bellwether leave the meeting with the headmaster, which would time this encounter around 1 p.m. Miss Frigga, if you had said good morning to the professor, you would have been mistaken, because that encounter could have only happened during the afternoon. And your point is? You said that yourself, Mr. Cuthbert, the witness has simply lost track of time. What the witness said isn't what's important here. The significance is what the professor said in response. She had just come out of a meeting. She would be well aware that it was no longer morning. So why would she respond, good morning? Wouldn't she have corrected the witness? Their encounter was extremely short, and the victim's mind may have been preoccupied. She could have easily responded to the witness without thinking. I'm going to be honest, I kind of agree with her. It's not hard to believe that they were both confused about the time. It's definitely a stretch. We still can't shake the feeling she's hiding something. Every time you ask her about how Bellwether acted that day, the eye picks something up. There has to be something there. Miss Frigga, you haven't been entirely truthful in your testimony, have you? But that's absurd. What reason would I have to lie? It's such a small detail. Why does he even care? Every detail about how she acted is important, Miss Frigga. What aren't you telling us? Us. Sorry, I keep not doing my Irish well. Mr. Cuthbert, you have no basis to accuse the witness of perjury. Well, stop this at once. Miss Frigga, you're lying about how Miss Bellwether responded to your greeting, aren't you? Doesn't make a difference. All she did was yell at me. All she did was yell? Miss Frigga, is it possible that Miss Bellwether's response was less than friendly? What do you care? What difference does it make? My job is to make sure every part of your testimony is truthful. Every detail matters, no matter how seemingly insignificant. Mr. Cuthbert, you will stop this or I'll find you in contempt. The professor yelled at you, didn't she, Miss Frigga? So what if she did? I mean... I'm sorry, but there's no going back on what you just said. I mean, he could very easily... I feel like he could be very easily be told off here for badgering the witness. I mean, he was just threatened by the judge for contempt of court, but this is very clearly badgering. You're lying! You're lying! I mean, ugh. I feel like maybe she should have broken that earlier. So you do admit that she yelled at you? Ah, you impertinent little... Yes, I admit it, the professor didn't greet me back that day. Oh, good morning, Professor. Be quiet! Oh, she said be quiet. That's really important. That's really important because she said be quiet to the other guy too, to Jan. And he didn't even say anything. I think it was a construct. I think it was the library construct, maybe. Because that's programmed to say be quiet. Yeah. I think it was the library construct. I'm starting to think it might have been Eris. Fuck, I think it might have been Eris. She yelled at me to be quiet, and until then, we'd always be nothing but courteous with each other. I don't know what got into her that day, but something put her in a foul mood. But that's it. Everything else I just said was the truth. They'll believe me, right? I did see her come out of the headmaster's office and walk towards the library. That part is true. So she wasn't lying about that. So is that all, Mr. Cuthbert? What do you mean, is that all? You badgered this witness, so all you could prove what, exactly? The witness committed perjury. The witness changed a small detail of her testimony. A detail that is inconsequential to this case. It was clearly an act with no malicious intent. Seeing her thoughts, it's hard to disagree with that. We're so sure that the eye would lead you somewhere. Frigg was only lying to save face. The witness saw the victim leave the headmaster's office and head towards the library. Do you have any concrete evidence to refute that, Mr. Cuthbert? No, I suppose I don't. But wait, is that really okay? At this rate, this will be the only chance you have to cross-examine her. I don't think she's lying anymore. I was really pushing my luck earlier. If I continue pressing her, the judge might actually charge me with contempt. If Miriam isn't the one that's lying, then... The defense has no further questions for the witness, Miss Steelwind. The prosecutor stays silent for a while. He almost looks disappointed. Very well, Miriam, you're dismissed. Well, they don't like each other, that's probably why. Miriam still looks like she's fuming, but she leaves the room without protest. The judge breathes a sigh of relief as the young noble is escorting out of the room. Now, with that out of the way, what else do you have, Mr. Cuthbert? The only way to refute the prosecutor's theory is to cast doubt on one of the witness's testimonies. If it wasn't Miriam, then... Steelwind, to test your theory, you must question every witness that saw the victim that day. So with that said, the defense would like to call Jan Hughes to the stand. I hope you understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your entire case rests on the assumption that one of the witness's accounts is incorrect. If your cross-examination of Mr. Hughes leads nowhere, then I hope you're ready to concede. You don't like the sound of it, but she's right. Unless you can find something in Jan's testimony, you don't have anything to disprove his theory. I think it was the construct from the library, because it said be quiet to us at the beginning. It'd be quiet to Jan, even though he didn't say anything. Probably just from the sound of the vase falling over. That's probably it. And be quiet to Miriam after she said good morning. I think it's likely. Bailiff, please bring in Mr. Hughes, who's also just happens to be nearby. I suppose they are witnesses. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. Witness, name and occupation.
Right. My name is Jan Hughes. I'm on the cleaning staff of the Academy.
Mr. Hughes, please testify to the court about your encounter with the professor that day.
Sure.
I like this guy, he seems cool. I'm always down for sleepy old dudes. He's not that old, actually.
I saw the professor when I was cleaning the West Wing hallways. It was about 20 to 30 minutes before the body was discovered. She walked by me, but she looked pretty out of it. Heard she was undead when this happened. Pretty creepy if you ask me. After that, she went into the empty classroom.
Well, that was straightforward. Come on, Jan, what are we supposed to do with that?
I don't know. You guys are the lawyers. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Cuthbert, you might be going to cross-examination. Alright, let's press everything. Goodness gracious. Press! How are you so sure that it was 30 minutes before?
I always check the time to make sure I'm on schedule. I was supposed to finish cleaning the halls by 3 p.m.
The body was discovered at 3:04. What was the professor like, Mr. Hughes? Did anything else look off about her?
I mean, yeah, she was an undead after all.
Oops. That remains to be proven.
If you say so.
Anyways, what was her demeanor like?
It looked like she was in a bad mood. Either that or she was tired. But I guess she was just dead inside, literally.
Press. I believe you've forgotten a few details about what the professor did.
Yeah? Sorry, it's hard to remember these things sometimes.
Which details she's asking for? Did she touch? Did she make any sounds? Did she do anything? Oh, that's all of them. Did she interact with you at all?
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice her at first and I accidentally got in the way. She shoved me to the side and kept walking forward.
This detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, Mr. Hughes.
Whatever you say, man.
I like him. Which bit is important? Maybe we have to add more. Maybe we have to choose which one is important. I think it's the sounds. Did you hear her make any sounds?
Oh, yeah. After she knocked over the vase, she yelled at me to be quiet. But I didn't even say anything.
This detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony. I think it's this. I think it's that. Because I don't think the undead can make noises. Is that right? Can't speak. That's it. That's it. That's the one. Objection! Get out of here, Jan! Mr. Hughes, you said that Bellwether yelled at you. The Bellwether? The Bellwether. What were her exact words?
I think she yelled at me to be quiet.
What?
I thought it was weird. I didn't even say anything. But I know better than to talk back to her.
That's the thing, Hughes. The prosecution's theory is as such. The professor was murdered in the library and was reanimated using an animate corpse. With a quick illusion spell, no one would notice that she was undead. However, if what you saw was truly the undead Bellwether, how did she speak to you?
Huh?
Ding, 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 ding. This doesn't make any sense. Mr. Hughes, undead can follow simple orders, but they don't have the intelligence to speak. Perhaps the witness was mistaken.
No, I'm sure I heard her yell at me. I don't know, because what she said didn't make any sense.
Exactly. He didn't say anything, but she still yelled at him to be quiet. Wait a minute. I'm afraid I don't understand. We've already established that Burton was dead long before the encounter with Mr. Hughes. But if what she said wasn't an undead, what was it? It had to be an undead. What other explanation is there? Couldn't have been a major illusion. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to shove Jen out of the way or knock over the vase. Whatever it was, someone probably illusory disguised to make it look like Bellwether. That mean it was a person? No, if it was a person, how did Bellwether's body end up in the lecture hall? Bellwether couldn't have been able to turn herself invisible if she was undead. Whatever Jan saw, it needs to be something that could have transported Bellwether's body unseen. Oh, they put Bellwether's body into the undead? Is that right? No, into the construct even? I don't know if that's possible. We don't know if they're hollow. I don't think they're hollow. We've not heard anything about them being hollow, so we'll leave that for a second. It would also have needed to have a mask and the ability to speak. Okay, the Bellwether's voice. Presents this. Yep. That's it? Huh? Do you have an artifact to come up? What did the witness actually say? Your Honor, the witness didn't actually hear the dead victim speaking. What he actually heard was her voice being recreated using magic. Are you trying to say that her voice was recreated using a spell? Not a spell, Steelwind. It was artificery. I feel smart. Yay! And whoever the murderer is, they have the perfect piece of artificery available to them. One programmed with Catherine Bellwether's voice. Huh? You can't possibly mean... That's right, Steelwind. I like that they're sort of working together already at this point. I like them. What Mr. Hughes saw was an arcane construct. An arcane construct? Think of it as a magically animated suit of armor, Your Honor. But we ruled out such a possibility, haven't we? Construct or not, no one could disguise himself and carry the body to the coffin. The person wouldn't have been able to do it. But arcane constructs are a different thing entirely. Those suits of armor are extremely large, but more importantly, they're hollow. Are they? We did learn that? Where does it say that they're hollow? Am I an idiot? Does it say that they're hollow anywhere? Called this ages ago, Smingle. Nice work. Thank you. Does it say that they're hollow? I'm now doubting this myself, but those sorts of armor are extremely large. Now, they're hollow, apparently. I've just come up with myself. I see. Not only that theoretically, someone would have placed the victim before he inside it. The Arcane construct wouldn't just transport the body. With an illusory disguise, it would also confuse and mislead anyone who saw it. I did call this ages ago. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Objection. I commend your deduction, Mr. Cuthbert. I would never have considered that possibility. It's certainly plausible, but what does this prove exactly? Different suits of armor are supposed to be worn, I suppose. Yeah? Yeah? I just assume that if it's artificery, that it's going to have shit in it to make it work. It could just be magic, though. Just armor, so I guess they can be hollow? Yeah, I don't know. I made an assumption, but it doesn't say anywhere that they're actually hollow. But it doesn't say anywhere that they're not hollow. I don't know. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're hollow. That's what matters. Certainly plausible. What does it prove exactly? It proves that the body wasn't animated using necromancy. My client isn't the murderer. The defendant is still capable of performing all the acts you described. His compendium contains illusory disguise after all. There were several students in the library that day. Any of them could have committed the murder. One might come to that conclusion if they didn't have one crucial piece of evidence. I'd like to present a new piece of evidence to the court. About the bloody rapier, god damn it. Is that... sorry. Oh, Sticky Spirit, how are you doing today? I didn't imagine them to be hollow either. Yeah, maybe that was an oversight in this description. I think they should have included that somewhere. Hey, Sticky Spirit.
Sticky Spirit.
Thank you for coming. Yes, Your Honor. This is the murder weapon. Why the hell have you not presented that until now? You were saving that for the perfect moment, wasn't she? This rapier was reportedly stolen by Miriam Frieger weeks before the murder. During the investigation, it was finally found in the defendant's locker. Oh, wait! He was clearly trying to use one of her possessions in a paltry attempt to frame her. Why, he even stole her locker's nameplate and placed it over his. Are you kidding me? Arya, you know that's not true! And that's not what happened. But honestly, it sounds more plausible than what really took place. But basically, we're back to square one, aren't we? Anyone could have told that construct to do all those things. Wait, anyone? Is that really true? Constructs transported the professor's body, and someone used an illusion to make it look like her. They even used a pre-recording the voice to make the illusion more convincing. Who ordered the construct to hide the body? I don't know. Do they only work when told by someone? I'm just ordered to. This took me out by surprise. The headmaster? I don't know. Could anyone have done that? Bellwether did it? Oh my god, I'm completely stumped by this. I wasn't expecting this to come up at all. This caught me by surprise. I have no idea. Eris? I feel that's too early to that she would become relevant. Bellwether? Herself? She wouldn't kill herself though. So why would she ask someone to hide a body? I have no idea. It's really caught me by surprise. Bellwether? That's not right. Not all of their functions are enabled. Would every function available to them? Oh, the headmaster. Is that mentioned anywhere though? Oh, damn it. Is that mentioned anywhere? Oh, voice lines can only be changed or adjusted by the Academy headmaster. God, silly me. Of course. Oh, I had a feeling, but I don't know. Several memories flood back to you. Mr. Hughes, you said the Bellwether yelled at you. What were her exact words?
I think she yelled at me to be quiet.
She yelled at me to be quiet. Until then, she had been nothing but courteous with each other. Don't know what got into her. That did something put her in a foul mood. Please, I've noticed this already. Be quiet. Sorry. Be quiet. Espington's giggling. She seems amused by what's happening. The construct's voice is just a series of pre-recorded messages. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it uses the voice of Professor Bellwether. Unfortunately, you can't make them say anything other than what's recorded. Only the headmaster can change those settings. Okay, Eris. God, you're so scary. Read the construct description again. Yeah, God. I thought maybe, but I just thought... I don't know what I thought. No, it can't be him. What is it, Tyrion? Did you figure something out? I did. Is he seriously the one behind all of this? Miss Steelwind, earlier you said that my client could have orchestrated this entire ruse, but that's simply not true. How so? Anyone could have ordered the construct to carry out the victim's body. Yes, but not everyone can change what the constructs are able to see. Only one individual has the credentials for that. Theodore Redmond, the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. Wait, you're not serious, are you? Do you think the headmaster did all of this? I don't want to believe it. But he's the only person who could have done it. That's completely ridiculous. Headmaster Redmond would never do something like this. Well, he was trying to get his stuff out of the lockers earlier. He was like snooping around and trying to get his shit out. It might have been something that was really important to the case. Maybe. Miss Steelwind, there's one common element between all of the witnesses' encounters with Bellwether. It's what Bellwether said to them. She yelled at both of them to be quiet. Miriam Friegel was particularly surprised. She had a good relationship with the professor, but when greeted by the professor, Bellwether just shouted at her, almost as if the professor was responding indiscriminately. I recall her encounter with Jan Hughes. The professor knocked over a vase and shouted at him to be quiet immediately after, even though he hadn't said anything. She was responding to the sound of the vase breaking. Now let me ask you this, Steelwind. Where did Bellwether come from before she encountered Miss Frege and Mr. Hughes? A meeting with the headmaster. Ooh. Uh-oh. It appears that the defense pretty means to indict Theodore Redmond. If so, we have no choice but to make a brief recess until he can be brought out. Blimey. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's no need. He's already here? Hello.
There's no need. Unfortunately for you, I'm already in the gallery.
Headmaster stood up from the gallery seats behind you and slowly walked onto the witness stand. Damn. Has he been here the entire time?
Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cuthbert. But do you think I am the one who committed this crime, Mr. Cuthbert?
I'm sorry, Redmond. No matter how I look at it, everything I found points to you.
No, there's no need to apologize. In fact, I should commend you on the lengths you're going to defend dear Wallace.
The court appreciates your understanding, Mr. Redmond. Angry.
Now then, to clear the air, I suppose I should give my testimony on what happened that day.
Interesting. But he could very easily say here that he had a meeting, but all she did was say to be quiet. He could very easily lie here, I suppose.
That day, I had a meeting scheduled with the professor at noon. She showed up at the expected time, and we discussed various administrative matters. Our meeting went on for an hour, after which she left to prepare for the next class. Despite our many agreements, we still knew how to be civil with one another. After all, I had no reason to bear a personal grudge against her.
That's a lie. I just can't see it. He seems like such a nice person. Is he really the person we're looking for?
He has to be. Nobody else could have orchestrated this entire plot.
Need to find out how and why. I know why. I know which bit's a lie already. I mean, I kind of want to press on all the statements because I just like this guy. I'll do it. I'll get it.
What was this meeting for? Oh, there's nothing of note.
Angry?
We're merely discussing our daily operations and duties within the academy. An academy like ours, it helps to frequently check in with the staff.
Well, he keeps being angry at things.
No, he showed up at exactly 12 p.m. More or less. Catherine Bellwether was many things, but she was never tardy.
Not any witnesses who saw her before the meeting. Never any witnesses prove what he's saying. Let's look elsewhere in his testimony. How long did this meeting last, Headmaster?
So that means the professor left your office at 1 p.m. Yes, she was quite adamant about taking time to prepare her lesson plans.
You think about it, Frege had no idea what time when she saw Bellwether. Headmaster is lying about when the meeting ended. There's no way to verify it, which means account for the hour gap that Steelwind mentioned. Damn it, did the Headmaster really do this? After hearing so much about her,
I find that a little hard to believe. I can see why you'd say that. Despite everything, I was still her superior. He always remained professional when speaking to me.
Is that really true, though?
Really? After the way she's acted towards the students and faculty. Make no mistake, I've heard many complaints regarding her actions, but I've had many conversations with her to try to correct her behavior. At the end of the day, she was a remarkable professor, regardless of her lack of people skills.
His testimony pretty much matches what we know so far. I'm not entirely sure if he's lying or not. At the very least, we know that he was involved in the professor's murder. But why? I mean, yeah, we know what the motive is. Okay, we're just pressing everything. So we know that... wanted to replace everyone? Where is that? Where's the, replace everything? Was this? According to Jan, Bellwether revealed his plan to the headmaster during a meeting a few weeks ago. Objection! Gotcha, you little son of a bitch. Redmond, did you really hold no animosity towards Professor Bellwether?
Of course not. I did have strong opinions about her methods of teaching, but I always remained professional. We both did.
Frankly, I find that hard to believe. In fact, I think you might have had a very good reason to murder the professor, considering that she was going to take your job. What?
So, you knew about that?
I'm sorry, but I don't follow. Just how was the professor going to take the headmaster's job? According to Miriam Frieger, Catherine Bellwether was currying favour with the noble families. In fact, there was a plan to oust from Mr. Redmond and appoint Bellwether as the new headmaster of the academy. What? But in any case, I doubt that the headmaster had any idea of this until now. I'd like to remind the court of the witness's reaction just now. He said you knew about that. His reaction was one of surprise. But he wasn't surprised by this information. He was surprised that I knew this information. That's...
Please, dear Arya. I may be a frail old man, but I'm perfectly capable of defending myself.
I like this guy so much. I don't think he's the murderer. I don't know why. If you have an explanation, Mr. Redmond, then by all means I'd love to hear it. Oh, he opened his eyes. Never mind, he looks scary. Gladly. Oh, he's getting more intimidating.
It is true that I knew about the Frieger's plot beforehand, but I had only just learned about it. On the day of the murder, the professor told me about her plan. She was going to replace me as headmaster and replace the staff with her arcane constructs. And you might say that this has been to give me a perfect motive to murder the professor. However, the supposed murder weapon was stolen by Miss Frieger. This happens weeks before the murder and my discovery of the professor's treachery. I had no knowledge of her plan before she told me, and therefore I wouldn't have known to steal Miss Frieger's weapon in an attempt to frame her. You satisfied, Mr. Cuthbert? There's no way that the headmaster could come up with this plan. If he really did do this, that means he stole the rapier too, right? Most likely. The alibi makes sense. He wouldn't have planned this whole thing unless he knew about Bellwether's plans. I mean, he knew about this weeks ago. How did he even find out? The best way to tell a convincing lie is to leave a lot of truth and only change one detail. Maybe Bellwether did tell him, but she actually told him weeks ago. Question: how do you prove that? One thing we know about the professor is that he did make the stink in the classroom. He made that stink, which might prove very important. It hasn't been brought up in this case so far, and if I know anything about this sort of series, everything comes up. So that's going to come up, and I feel like the headmaster definitely had a part in this. It did say a few weeks ago. What was it I was trying to prove? What's that? You only learned about it recently. Doesn't that seem a bit too convenient for you? May appear that way, yes, but...
Let me just go to the end real quick. What did she say again? You had to know about Bellwether's betrayal weeks ago. How do you prove it? Do you have something that proves he knew about it before the day of the murder? Do we have something like that? Do we have something like that that proves that he found out? I mean, it says... I mean, this doesn't prove it, though. Is it this? That's a few weeks ago, but I don't think it proves anything. There's also no fingerprints in this, which I find is interesting. I like there's no fingerprints in this particular universe. Is it just... It can't be this again. It's not that. I don't know. Oh no, I don't want to get stuck here. Is it the... It's not the foul classroom smell, surely. Doesn't prove anything. Maybe we'll do some more pressing. That must have infuriated you. Your colleague betrayed you and attempted to steal your job. I'm only human, of course I was taken aback. Been headmaster of the Imperial Academy for decades. To think that the professor and the board would go around my back like that. If the professor did, you wouldn't have to worry about losing your job. At least not for a while. I suppose you're correct, but there are others who benefit too. Faculty staff is now aware of the Frigga's plot. If the plot delayed, you don't need to worry about abruptly losing their jobs either. How do you prove that Redmond is the killer? He loses his job and has Frigga will appoint someone else. No, you can't think about that now. Don't prove Redmond's guilt, the court will convict Wallace. As the headmaster, you probably have the tools available to get into a room. Yes, I will admit that. The Academy has a master key that can be used to enter each of the students' dorms. And yes, as headmaster, I would have access to that key. And you could have the perfect way to get into a room and steal this rapier, I think that's it. Of course I did. However, there's one flaw with your logic. What's that? It was my understanding that Friggers wanted to keep this a secret until the very end. Why would Bellwether of all people tell you about her betrayal? I imagine she wanted to taunt me with that information. We've long had our disagreements, and looking back, she may have resented me for that. At that point, there wasn't anything I could do to stop her. Really? I thought you and the professor were on good terms. I thought so too, but I suppose it was all a facade. She was just biding her time and she could take my position as headmaster. We didn't learn anything really. Is it the foul classroom spell? That can't be right, surely. Oh, we can finally see this. That's fun. We haven't actually had a chance to look at it yet. I might be being stupid. Or something. I mean, that's not evidence, though. Objection! Yeah. Yeah. Is it the smell? I don't think it's the smell. Objection! It's not the smell. Oh, God. No! I might be just presenting on the wrong thing. I'm just presenting on the wrong thing. That's testimony. Objection! Yeah. I guess I can keep trying. At least there's no health bar. Why can't you present Bellwether testimony again on the last statement? I don't know. I just tried. It didn't work. They've checked all of this stuff at this point. No way can we can prove. That's nothing to do with it. Oh, is it the constructs? Objection! No. This one feels a little redundant in hindsight, does it? Do I just... Is it really... Am I just doing it on the wrong thing? No, it's not that. One feels a little redundant in hindsight. Redundant? Interesting. Second statement, I think, really? This one? This one? Objection! What? Huh? Wait a minute. You kept saying that you didn't know about Bellwether's plot before yesterday. Do you still plan on standing behind that claim? Of course I am, because it's the truth. I'm sorry, Redmond, but you should really close your doors during your meetings. What? Someone see? It is true that Bellwether revealed her plan to you during one of your meetings. In fact, Jan Hughes happened to overhear that same meeting. But he only overheard the part where the staff would be replaced. That's the strangest part, Redmond. According to Mr. Hughes, this meeting occurred weeks ago. Yeah, this is redundant. We should have just brought this up and not had this little section. I guess it was so we could gradually break him, but that was we already presented this. Yeah, I don't know. You can't accuse the headmaster of perjury based on a rumor. Everything you've just said is based on second-hand information. Mr. Hughes distinctly overheard that the staff would be replaced with arcane constructs. That is too specific and too accurate to assume that he misheard a different conversation. The professor probably only revealed her plan for the arcane constructs. That still doesn't prove that he knew about her treachery beforehand. Professor Bellwether had no authority over the cleaning staff's employment. It wouldn't make sense for her to just reveal her plan for the arcane constructs. That would only make sense with the context that Bellwether would be taking his job. Tell me one thing, Redmond. Why did you find the need to lie about this? Is it because you saw a need to protect yourself from accusations? Redmond, I asked you a question. Did you murder Catherine Bellwether? Oh. What a fine mess this is. I'm not done, not yet. Headmaster? So you truly plan on pushing this, aren't you? Well, your thesis sounded promising, Mr. Cuthbert. I believe your arguments could use a little work. You think I killed Catherine Bellwether? Me? I'm an elderly man in his late 80s. I can barely walk, much less wield a rapier. You have constructs in your room? Yeah, you weren't alone, and you had a construct, right? Yeah, cool. But you and Bellwether weren't the only people in that room, were you? You needed the arcane construct to carry Bellwether's body. That means that the construct would have already been in your office. And with your privileges, you could have easily programmed the construct to stab Bellwether for you. Even so, think about what would have transpired afterward. Recall Miss Steelwind's timeline of Bellwether's witnesses. Your theory the construct would have spent more than an hour in the library. Having it there would have risked my so-called ruse from being discovered. Luckily, Lady Frigga can't tell night from day. Wouldn't have the construct linger around the library. Luckily, that's not right. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Is it logic? No. Redmond, what you're saying clearly doesn't match what you're thinking. What weak assertion is that? You possibly know what I'm... Oh my god, look at this guy. Well, okay, fine, there's that one. Sometimes it really is just like pick and choose with this. The time you just deduced from Miss Frigga's testimony is predicated on one thing. She saw Miss Bellwether exit your office after the meeting. This is logic, I'm not wrong. However, I assume that you're lying about when this meeting ended. Your entire argument falls apart. Miss Frigga would have encountered Bellwether after her death at 2:01 p.m. Miss Frigga wouldn't have made a mistake like that. Miss Frigga thought it was the morning when she saw Bellwether. Oh, that's... yeah, okay, alright. You can't possibly tell the time. You can't reliably tell the time. Then what about where the rapier was placed? If it really was the murder, then what would mean I planted the weapon in young Wallace's locker? Several of the students had lockers there that I had access to. Wallace is one of my prized students. If I had to frame anyone, he would be the last person I chose. Well, the locker things have been switched around, haven't they? I don't know. How's it? Where's the thing where they switch around? Oh, I must have switched the ID numbers. Right, Mr. Redmond. You wouldn't try to frame Wallace. You would try to frame Miriam Frigga. It would have been the perfect act of revenge, wouldn't it? You murdered your treacherous co-worker and framed the daughter of the family that helped her. Something went wrong, didn't it, Redmond? Labels in Wallace's locker and Miriam's locker were switched. Anyone who saw that would have easily mixed them up. I am the headmaster of the Imperial Academy. I have records of all the students' lockers and where they're located. No reason I would make a mistake like that. If I truly planned this, I would have known where Wallace's locker was. Simple change in labels wouldn't have led me to make a careless mistake like that. The active Arcane construct in the Academy locker room? Is that relevant? I love this music, by the way. This music is great. It's not that again, right? Is it that one? That can't be anything to do with it. Why would you get it wrong? Did you get the construct to do it? Oh, wait, did you get the construct to do it? Is that right? Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Can I read these? No, these don't say anything on them. Is it, he got the construct to do it and he just said construct read. Put this in that place. Is it this? Oh yeah, that's right, that's why this is an active construct. But it wasn't you, was it? The Arcane construct was the one who planted the rapier in the locker. I bet you commanded it to place this rapier in the locker of Miriam Frieger. You saw the ID number on Wallace's locker and assumed that it was Miriam's. This is I. Redmond's beginning desperately stammering, looking for something to say. Miss Dealwind, say something. What? Mr. Cuthbert, your theory may be plausible, but there's no evidence to support it. Ha! That's right! You don't have any proof, do you? Look at this fucking... He's very clearly guilty. I can't believe I called it he might be the villain ages and ages and ages ago. Saying that I could have committed the murder isn't the same thing as proving I did it. No evidence of my orders? Yeah, it's right fucking there, you dumbass. Hello? Evidence of my order? Yeah, there is. It's there. Hello? Are we on the same planet? we speak in the same language. It's there. I mean, there's no evidence that the orders happened. Maybe that's why. Maybe this is... Because maybe he ordered it to do more than that. And therefore it stopped after it finished the first one. Maybe. Can't think of anything else. But it's there! It can't be this again though, right? It's not just... Oh shit. Oh no. I just realised my internet is tanking. I'm really sorry if my stream is stuttering, you guys. Oh, it looks like it's getting better now. Just had a moment of like, whoa. Sorry about that, sorry about that. It's not this again, surely. It was that again, okay. The Arcane construct is still in the locker room where I planted the rapier. All we have to do is take a look inside and we'll see the blood inside. Is that so, Mr. Cuthbert? What was he still look so confident? No, Mr. Cuthbert, I already checked the inside of that construct during my investigation. Interior was completely clean. What? Construct's primary function is to assist and clean, dear Tyrion. They may have a function that allows them to clean themselves inside and out. Well, we can still look at his command history, right? Think about it, Mr. Cuthbert. Do you ever honestly think the murderer would leave behind evidence like that? I'm sure that whoever orchestrated this plot, they ordered the construct to wipe its logs when it was finished. No. That's right, Mr. Cuthbert. Your case against me is theoretical at best. I suppose I can still give you marks for trying. I'll take an A+. Now, you thought of everything. Was he seriously able to get rid of all the evidence? You're running out of options, but you still have one tool left. Huh. It's unbecoming to glare like that, young Tyrion. He's doing it again. Bring yourself back to the moment with Garrick Pierce. Think about what's at stake for Wallace, just like you did with Celeste. It's gonna be to do with the complicated orders. A smell, maybe? Its life and its future are in your hands.
Naught can remain concealed.
Hell yeah, we can do it. Empowered eye. Now my eyes hurt. I put on my glasses. You activate the empowered eye again. Redmond did a good job of covering his tracks. There's something you've got to get rid of. Smell? I wanted to leave any other pieces of evidence behind. It's far too reckless. I need some way to keep that lecture hall empty. I must have botched the academy experiment on purpose to keep the lecture hall cleared. Dang, does that not... Right, is that really all that's going to come of this little bit? Alright, okay, I'm going to fucking do you. Construct's orders were clear. Plant the body in lecture hall 2B, then plant the evidence in Frigga's locker. We're supposed to head to the storage room afterward. What happened? Interesting, the contract wasn't supposed to be in the locker room. Ooh, that was somewhat enough. It wasn't supposed to be in the locker room. What else then? I did everything I could to cast doubt on Frigga's brat. Can't you believe Valerie placed a trace of necromancy on the body? To make matters worse, the construct placed the evidence in the wrong locker. So he did send the construct to the locker room to plant the evidence. He must have also fabricated the documents that accused Frigga of cheating. Oh, dang, really? He fabricated those documents? Dang. Well, to make her look like the murderer. Doesn't give you anything new to work with. Dang, I'm really getting an idea of how this actually went down now. Interesting. Everything I could. Okay. Not that. Is it... I don't know. Is it this? No. Damn, boy. Oh, no. What's the last bit? No, what's the last bit? I was a construct. Shouldn't have been there following my orders. No matter, it wiped its logs. I have nothing on me. Oh. That was enough. I remember there being something about like how long it takes to wipe the logs, or like how often the logs can be wiped, or something like that. But I can't remember exactly what it was. Wait, he ordered the contract to go to the storage room. He would have done that after it was finished planting evidence in the locker room. But we found it in the locker room. What's what the contract won't leave in the locker room? It had wiped his logs, maybe. This? That's not right. Something must have interfered with it. Alright. What interfered? Ooh, what interfered? What interfered? Was it the fact that... Was it the fact that the things were switched over? Something interfered. Was it this? Yes! Right, the body was probably reported earlier than Redmond expected, which means he probably started the lockdown before the construct was finished in the locker room. How did the lockdown affect the construct's actions? The body... Oh, Redmond's... Fuck. Was it supposed to go afterward? I don't remember. Bellwether's body... No, Bellwether's... Oh, fuck. Oh no. I don't know. What's the log? Thank you guys for joining me on this journey where my brain expands at a rate faster than it's ever done before. Finished in the lockdown before the contract was finished in the locker room. Storage room. So he was supposed to go to the storage room, but he couldn't go there. Redmond's series of plants was interrupted by the lockdown. I thought it would be Redmond's series of interruptions. A series of commands was interrupted by Redmond, which would have been funny and also accurate technically. Right, the series of commands would have been interrupted. Wait a minute. Constructs execute a series of commands in the order they are given. Let's say one of these tasks is impossible to complete, and the construct gets that task, it would deem the entire series impossible to complete. As a result, it stopped executing the series altogether. So it didn't wipe its logs? It didn't wipe its logs because going to the storage room was impossible. So C was impossible, and C was wiping the logs. Hey, okay, so the logs are still there. So if a task was in a series of logs to complete, yeah, blah, blah, blah. The construct's final command was to wipe its memory, but its orders were interrupted by the lockdown then. Miss Steelwind, I have nothing more to ask this witness. What? You're not giving up, are you? Do you even have to ask? Yeah, I thought so. How are you going to prove you did it if you're not testifying? Don't worry. The next witness testimony will be all I need. Next witness? That look on your face isn't one of defeat. Just what are you planning?
Ah, it's nothing but desperate bravado. Now, if you'll excuse me.
You've let your quarry get away, Mr. Cuthbert. Hope you know what you're doing.
I do, Miss Steelwind.
First, I'd like for the Inquisition to bring in the Arcane construct in the Academy's locker room. We've already established that the murderer could have wiped its history.
Please just humor me for a second, Miss Steelwind.
Very well. Bailiff, please relay Mr. Cuthbert's request to Commander White. And 6 hours later, they bring the stone. Well, here's your construct. Hope you know what you're doing, Mr. Cuthbert.
Construct!
What are your orders?
Please recite your command history.
Reporting. Command 1, stand by in Headmaster's office. Command 2, await vocal signal attack from Theodore Redmond. You hear Redmond stand up from the gallery. Seeing this, the prosecutor watches him and carefully clutches the handle of Arcane. Command 3, treat Catherine Bellwether as a hostile entity and neutralize.
Construct, wipe your...
Hold! Huddle. Huddle? Before you can finish the sentence, the prosecutor points Arcane at the headmaster. Magical energy shoots from it and collides directly with him. Magic wreathes around his body and stops him from moving. He's clearly trying to struggle against it. It looks like he can't even move his mouth.
But Mr. Wind?
Excuse the interruption, please continue. Command 4, await vocal signal leave from Theodore Redmond. Command 5, move to Command 2B, reply to any inquiries with a voice line 3. I bet that's be quiet. Remove Catherine Bellwether from interior frame and place on floor.
Thank you, Construct. You can stop now, I think we all know the rest. But just to be clear, who gave you this series of commands?
Construct, commands were provided by Headmaster Theodore Redmond.
How? I ordered the Construct to wipe its command history. Mr. Redmond, Constructs don't follow the same logic that humans do. They're prone to error when their commands are impossible to execute. Impossible? In what way were my commands impossible? You were the one who made it impossible. You activated the lockdown system. The lockdown? The body was found earlier than you'd like. You had no choice but to immediately activate the lockdown system when it was reported. However, the Construct was still in the locker room when you did this. So that's why it was there. The Construct finished its task in the locker room, but then it tried to follow your next command. It tried to move to the storage room, but it was prevented from doing so. The completion of that command was impossible, though the series of commands was stopped before it wiped its memory. You little... Theodore Redmond, you ordered your Construct to murder Catherine Bellwether. Then you had to place the murder weapon in the locker to frame Miriam Frieger, and you had your Construct's testimony to prove it. And that's checkmate.
Hell yeah, we did it, baby. We did it, baby.
I can't believe it. How could you do something like this, Headmaster? She was going to take everything from me. My position, my academy, my students. Everything would be gone. It would be stolen by her and the Friegers.
Why didn't you say anything to me? I could have...
Don't you dare stand there and act ignorant, Lady Steelwind. Do you think the Friegers acted alone? Your father was a part in this plot too.
What?
I have nothing to say to you. I thought you were different. I listened to your lies about societal reform. In the end, you were just like the rest of the aristocracy. I'm the scared lord. What have I done? I was even willing to sacrifice poor Wallace. I can't believe I...
Oh. You nearly say, why did I listen? And I bet that'd be, why did I listen to Eris? Oh, dearie me. I'm scared of Eris. She can do some horrible things.
Why did I do this?
Please, we have full compassion. We've got no reason to prolong this any further. Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell. Well, you're 88, so... there's that.
Mr. Cuthbert, you really did it.
Feels amazing, right? Like a big weight being lifted from your shoulders.
It does, but I can't believe the Headmaster was the one who did this.
Right, despite everything Redmond did, he was the one that allowed Wallace to pursue his dreams.
I'm sorry. I'm sure this is bittersweet for you. What am I going to do now? Headmaster Redmond was the only reason I could even attend the academy. With him gone. Come on, don't think like that. You could have quit it. I'm sure it'll all work out.
I want to agree, but necromancy is basically taboo. Without Redmond's support, there aren't many places he could learn it legitimately. And then there's the Imperial Academy.
Hey, don't you get all side on me too. Sorry, I was just thinking. With Redmond gone, the figures will probably just appoint another sycophant as the headmaster.
Valentina, Valerie, and Jan, they're all going to lose their jobs. Oh, and you found the truth, and you put a murderer behind bars. You saved Wallace. She's right. Yeah, because it ended the court. Was she in the gallery this entire time? At the end of the day, you saved Wallace from a wrongful conviction. You should be proud of yourself for that. I suppose you're right. Maybe I just am overthinking things. Doubt still lingers in your mind. Now, come on, I'm taking Wallace to that restaurant we went to last time. Do you remember how much that place cost? Don't worry, we have plenty of gold. Am I the only one on this team not making any gold? Why don't you just meet us there, Celeste? I need to talk with Tyrion for a moment. Alright. I'll see you. Let's go, Wallace. Oh, he's blushing. You activated the Empowered Eye again, didn't you? Doesn't appear to be praising you. I did. I didn't really have a choice. The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion. But that's twice now you've used the Empowered Eye to get out of a tough spot. You can't keep relying on it if you want to grow as an attorney. One day you'll find a witness that the Empowered Eye won't work on. It's worked for me so far, though. But I suppose you're right. I'll try to rely on it less next time. And that marks the end of another case in my career as a defense attorney. Another life saved, another murderer brought to justice. I still couldn't shake this feeling of uneasiness. Was it guilt for what happened to the faculty staff? Was it something else? Dang. Okay. I have theories. I have the theories. Ooh. Man, Steelwind has been talking with the Perp for hours. What's there to even ask at this point? As it just turns out, she doesn't trust his testimony. Something about his memory is not matching up with the crime scene. You don't think he has Magebite, does he? No, it's not that. She found that damn symbol etched into his disc. What did she call it? The purple mark? For the love of not this again. Look, if the little lady wants to chase the boogeyman, just let her. At least this time she's doing it personally instead of dragging us into it. Cast sleep. Yeah, I knew it. Hey! What's up with... Who did this to your desk? What has got it into you? I've already admitted to everything. What more could you possibly want from me? Where did this graffiti come from? What is the symbol? What is the purple mark? I don't know. A student must have done it at some point. Think very hard, Headmaster. When did he receive this purple symbol? Focus on the moment you received this. Wait a minute. I remember it now. But how? Lady Steelwind! Lady Steelwind! Arya, what happened? Are you okay? That was close. My elation over meeting him almost made me forget. Harris, what are you doing here? But why? Wait, I remember now. It was you. You put those ideas into my mind. You're the one who told me to murder Bellwether. Oh, you humans never fail to amuse me. I didn't make you do anything. Everything you did that day, all the planning, all the preparation, that came from your own mind. And I have to say, I was quite entertained with the scheme you came up with. Why, you even broke into Miriam's room. I didn't know you had it in you, old man. You made me forget about our conversation, but how? Illusions can't affect the mind, magic can't affect the mind. It's a shame, though. I would have much rather turned Wallace into the antagonist of this chapter. Could you imagine if he turned? It would have been spectacular. Armies of the undead running rampant in the streets. But alas, even I can corrupt his pure soul. Answer me, who are you? What are you? Who am I? I'm the Lord of the Sixth Circle. Scream. It's 10:15. Yeah, I'm not going to be screaming. Right. Well, that was a case. Well done, everybody. Well done. Very good job. Excellently done. I came figuring it out pretty quickly.